You sharing your time. Appreciate you sharing your time this afternoon. This is the first application information session for round 3 of the Beyond Open Small Business Grant Program. There will be 7 more information sessions following this one. This one is being recorded to be available 24/7 for anyone that wishes to participate in an information session but is not able to join either one of our virtual sessions or one of the in-person sessions that are being scheduled across the community over the coming weeks. My name is Tracy Russ. I am in service to the community at Foundation for the Carolinas, and it's my honor to lead the Beyond Open program with my colleagues who do have the Beyond Open background behind them. And I would love for each of them to introduce themselves and then pass it on to the next colleague on the Beyond Open team before we move ahead. So Azania, I'll begin with you.
Thank you, Tracy. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you guys so much for taking time to join us today to learn about the Beyond Open Small Business Grant Program. I am a small business owner like yourself. I own a public and community relations firm, Jaja PR, and have the privilege and honor of working with Foundations for the Carolina on behalf of this program to support the program as a whole, as well as leading communications and outreach. And I will toss it over to Almudena.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's very nice to see you here and see some familiar faces from previous rounds. So I work with Foundation for the Carolinas as a consultant, mainly focusing on the application criteria and review process. And, it's wonderful to see you here. And again, thank you.
And Almudena, Ish, why don't you jump in and go next?
Sounds great. Hi, everyone. I'm employed at Foundation Carolinas. I am program manager for Beyond Open program. Help with embedding the application in our system, as well as assisting wherever needed. Thank you so much for being on the call. And I think that's it.
Thanks, Ish. And Ish was breaking up a bit, so my colleague Ismael Salgado works with me at Foundation for the Carolinas with Beyond Open as a program manager. And what I want you to know about this team and others who are not with us today on the Beyond Open team is that we're here for you. We're here to help support you in building your strongest application possible for Beyond Open small business application and hopefully as a grantee moving forward. You can reach out to anyone on the Beyond Open team through email at info@beyondopenclt.com. There is information on the website to contact us as well. Of course, we have social media channels that are up and running and activated. Feel free to use those chat features and others. We'll talk about other organizations and supports that are available to you in a few moments. And Ish, we can move on to the next slide. To do a quick agenda overview, the purpose of today's call and all of the information sessions is to give you information that can be useful for you as you make a decision on applying to Beyond Open and then in building your strongest application possible. So we'll begin with an overview of the third round of Beyond Open. We'll start after that with some things that are important to know, and these are just basic points about the program that we want to make sure you understand. We've broken the steps out in the process over 3 basic steps. 1, learning about the program. I will cover the basics of the program today in step 1. I'll then turn it over to my colleague Azania for steps 2 and 3 for prepare and apply. And you'll find information about the program and supports to help you organized in this way in this information session, on the website at beyondopenclt.com, through our community partner organizations, and also in our round 3 application guide, which we'll cover in just a few moments. And then we'll stop towards the end and answer a few questions from you as participants. Again, I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. We're very aware and mindful that your time is valuable as a small business owner, and that even time spent for an opportunity, which is a good thing, is time away from your core business. So thank you for joining us today. And we can move on. The keywords, if you remember nothing else from today's session, here are 2 phrases to remember. Prepare early, and reach out for support. Don't be afraid to ask any question, any topic, any support that you may need. Reach out. We're here to help you along with many others. Because again, we want to make sure that we're doing the best job that we can do to honor the hard work that you put in as a small business owner into your business, for your family, for yourself, and for the community. All of this that you're about to see and learn more about is set up to get funds out from Wells Fargo that have been given to the Foundation for the Carolinas for a total of $15 million in small business grants. This is round 3. We have given out nearly $10.5 million. We'll give out up to $5 million in this third round. This is an opportunity for you to purchase and acquire capital assets. We want to help you get those funds. We're not here to keep anyone out. We're out to include as many as we possibly can. So to do that, we need your help and us working together to build your strongest application. Ish, we can move forward. The website is an important resource for you. Again, at beyondopenclt.com, you can access that through a mobile device, smartphone, with the code that's pictured there at any time. Next slide. So step 1, we strongly encourage everyone who's thinking about applying to learn as much about the program as possible, to learn about the opportunity that is there through Beyond Open to acquire capital assets for your small business, and to learn more about the eligibility requirements so that you can make the best decision about proceeding with your application and how to best reach out for support so that we can help you. Next slide. Some things that are important to know about the program. These are some facts from our first 2 rounds of Beyond Open grants that have been distributed out in the community. We have awarded nearly 300 grants totaling approximately $10.7 million. And again, we want to thank Wells Fargo for making this program possible. The grant amounts have ranged from $5,000 up to $250,000. The amounts for round 3 are different than that. We'll cover that in a moment. 91% of our grantees are small businesses that are owned by persons of color. 60% are woman-owned, 11% LGBTQ plus owned, 6% veteran-owned, and 90% of our grantees have under 10 employees. So these are truly small businesses. And Almadina, you might help me with this statistic, but I believe that even the majority of that 90% are under 5 employees. So if any of you are wondering, is this a program that's for me? I'm a very small business and it might be just you. The answer is absolutely yes. This is for truly small businesses. If you look in the eligibility requirements, you'll see that there is a cap of hundreds of employees. We don't have many applicants that have even come close to that number. So know that this is for you. Second slide on the important to know. The timeline for this round has begun. We're launching and have launched our awareness campaign in May. That will continue through the entire application period through August. The application itself will open on August the 5th on the website. So between now and then, you'll begin preparing what you need for the application, but you won't be able to actually fill an application out until it is available beginning August the 5th. The application will close on August 30. We will review every application that's received, and we will notify everyone who has applied as to their status in November. We'll do that as quickly as possible to make sure that you have maximum opportunity to receive the funds that you may have been awarded through round 3. A few points, again, and we'll stress this over and over again, beginning your preparations as soon as possible is important. We've noticed from grantees in the first 2 rounds that one of the recurrent themes or comments that they make is that they did begin preparing early. We will award up to $5 million total in grants for round 3. Those grant amounts range from $10,000 at the lowest to $150,000 at the highest amount. It's important to know that this program is very competitive. That's driven primarily by the fact that there is so much opportunity and need among small business owners in our community, especially in our corridors of opportunity. We wish that we had the resources to help every small business owner who is out there working hard, whose business is making it, and for whom this program could be of benefit. We simply don't have those resources to match the need and the opportunity. But we do have significant resources that will be distributed out. And again, up to $5 million in round 3. Meeting the eligibility requirements and applying for the award does not guarantee that you will receive a grant award. So this is different than other programs, especially those that were present during COVID relief. It is a competitive program. Signing up, applying, meeting all the eligibility requirements alone does not guarantee a grant award. Last thing to know is that we're not able to provide one-to-one feedback on every application due to the number of applications that we do receive. Instead, what we try to do is take information from applicants in prior rounds, input from the community, best practices from other similar grant programs, and build out support so that you have what you need to prepare the strongest application possible in advance. Next slide. The eligibility requirements. It's important to note that your small business must meet all of the eligibility requirements that are listed to be eligible to apply and then receive a Beyond Open Round 3 grant. It's not the case that you can meet one of the eligibility requirements or 6 of them. You must meet all 7. And if you need help identifying whether or not you are or are not eligible, we'll talk about how to do that through information sessions, through our community partner organizations, and through email in just a bit. First is that your business is physically located inside one of the 6 corridors of opportunity that have been identified by the City of Charlotte. These are areas in our community that have been historically underserved and underinvested for decades. And that's the reason that we chose to focus Beyond Open as a small business grant program within these corridors. That does not mean that there aren't other businesses, many other businesses throughout the community, throughout the city, and throughout Mecklenburg County, for whom this program could be of benefit. However, we feel it necessary to focus resources where the most highest needs are and the most opportunities lie, and that is in these areas, in these corridors of opportunity. You must have been in operation 1 full year prior to the start of the application period for round 3. So for round 3, that means you were in operation on or before August 5th, 2023. Your organization should be a for-profit organization, not a 501c3 or a 501c6. They are not eligible to apply for round 3 of Beyond Open. I will note, however, that our home organization, Foundation for the Carolinas, offers a wide range of grant programs that are geared and focused on nonprofits exclusively. This is, meaning Beyond Open, is the only program that is focused on for-profit organizations. So know that there are the resources available for nonprofits, 501c3s and 501c6s through the foundation, but not through the Beyond Open program. Your annual revenue must meet at least $30,000 as a minimum and max out at $5 million. That revenue number that you will provide on your application will be verified by tax information that you also provide in the application process. As I mentioned earlier, no more than 200 employees. There are not many applicants that we've seen that even come close to that. So this is truly for small businesses if you measure them by the number of employees. If you are a single person enterprise, company, business, and you're the owner, you should count yourself as an employee throughout the program. If your business is a franchise, it must be locally owned and it must be independent. So not a franchise that's owned by a corporate entity from outside the community. Must be locally owned and independently owned. And finally, all the required information that will be listed and that we'll walk through in a few moments must be provided for us to do an equitable job and a fair job of reviewing all applications on an equal basis. We're asking everyone for the same information depending on the amount that they're asking for, and that information must be accurate. So these are the 7 eligibility requirements. There are not others that are out there, and this list is the full list. And again, you must meet all of these eligibility requirements to be eligible to apply and receive a grant. Next slide. I won't walk through every bullet point here in this chart of the required documents and information, but you should review and be prepared to provide this information after you've reviewed what the needs of your business are and decide what you might request in terms of a Beyond Open small business grant. Let me say this. I'm mindful, and we are mindful, that this chart has a lot of names of documents and sources of information on it. Don't be intimidated by that if you're not familiar with some of them. We have organizations that can work with you to pull this information together, but it's very important that you start early in working with those organizations if you don't have these documents already in your possession. You'll note that there are some requirements for grant applications for real estate that are special. We'll walk through those as well. And there's information available about that specifically on the website and in the application guide too. So essentially what we want to see is information that confirms that your business is physically located in one of the 6 corridors, that the financial information that you're providing is verified by documentation, and that we want to see some evidence that you're meeting both the minimum and maximum revenue requirements, but also that your business is viable and that this grant could help you move your business on to the next level. So it's information that we're asking everyone depending on the range of funds that they are requesting. Next slide. There are provisions for what these Beyond Open grants can be used for and what they cannot be used for. What they can be used for and what this program is designed to do is to allow small business owners, Beyond Open grantees, to acquire capital assets. And you can think about capital assets in 4 categories in this case: equipment, technology, real estate, and inventory needs that your business may have. A simple way to think about it, perhaps, is things and objects that can be owned that you can put your hands on. And ordinarily, these are high-cost items and may require you to take out a loan for your business to acquire. With a Beyond Open grant, of course, these are grants. They do not need to be repaid. They are not loans. They are funds that are provided to you to acquire that capital asset. You'll see a list of the kinds of capital assets that are eligible for application, but don't take this list as complete. If you feel that your business needs a capital asset that's not listed, ask us and we'll tell you if it's eligible or not. But this list is meant as a series of examples to give you an idea of the kinds of assets that you could apply for. There are uses that the grants cannot be used for, and these are what are called typically operating expenses primarily. Payroll, utilities, advertising, marketing, any form of debt repayment, training, classes, certifications, insurance requirements that you may have, professional and consulting services such as legal services, accounting, medical services perhaps, and leases that are already existing, meaning they're not for a new space to allow for the growth and expansion of your business. Let me say this. It is important to know that we recognize that many of these uses for small business resources are important. Things like marketing, legal consultation, of course, payroll. Your people are critical to the operation of your business and success of your business. We understand that. However, this program is not designed to support those uses. It's designed to support needs of small businesses that have capital assets that they wish to acquire and for which those capital assets can be transformative for the future growth of your business. So it's important that you're clear when you're applying to understand and know that what you're asking for and requesting is an allowed use and does not include any of the uses that is in the list of things that they cannot be used for. Again, if you have questions about whether or not what you might request fits, let us know and we'll respond. I believe now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Zania to walk you through steps 2 and 3, and then we'll take questions and answers.
Thank you, Tracy, for the overview of the program. And just as a reminder, there is a note in the chat. If you have any questions or thoughts that come to mind while we're speaking, please drop that directly in the chat. We are all on mute at this time, but we will have a time dedicated to answering questions. So don't feel that you have to hold on to it in case you're going to forget. Thoughts are fleeting, please drop that in the chat, and we'll be addressing those at the end of the presentation. So the last two sections I'm going to go through, I'm going to try to do it as succinctly as possible, are preparation, preparing to apply, and then actually applying. So again, there's 3 steps here. I have great insight about what the program offers, and now we're going to dive into preparing. So Ish, if we can go to the next slide, please. As Tracy said, prepare early. This is an overview of the ways in which our program team is reaching out in the community to make you guys aware and ready to be able to dive into applying for this grant opportunity. You've already taken a great step here really early in the process of joining this call with us to learn more about the Round 3 grant program. We will also be having like door-to-door canvassing that goes out to businesses that have brick and mortar storefronts. We are collaborating with other community partner organizations. So these are organizations that support the small business ecosystem. We'll be joining those meetings. We have these virtual webinars. There are multiple of them. We're going to have some in-person events, one in each corridor of opportunity, as well as some other pop-up events that are taking place in each of the corridors of opportunity. We hope that you will hear about us in newspapers. You may hear some ad placements. You have the website, which I imagine you guys have gone to register for this event. That's beyonopenclt.com. And then we're also present on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So we hope that we're super in your face throughout this awareness cycle and program. And our objective is to make as many eligible business owners aware as possible. We don't want anyone to not apply for a lack of awareness that they did not know, right? So we want you to know, and please spread the word and share that with others because we know the value of word of mouth. The other thing to note is we have a really diverse community here in Mecklenburg, and some of our top languages aside from English are Spanish and Vietnamese. And so all of our print materials that we've designed, they're also uploaded on the website in a digital format. They are available in English, Spanish, as well as Vietnamese. And the website is able to be translated over to these languages. If you know of anyone, Arabic, I know, is a pretty common language that's growing in Charlotte-Mecklenburg. If you know someone who would like to see these materials in their native language, please let us know, have someone reach out on their behalf, and we'd be happy to make that available to them. So again, this is about access. We want everyone to have an opportunity to learn about this program. All right, we can go to the next slide. All right, so eligibility. As Tracy noted, the program is focused in on where the opportunity is greatest. That is here in Charlotte-Mecklenburg, our corridors of opportunity. If you're unfamiliar with this, these are regions, geographical neighborhoods that the city of Charlotte has recognized they've underinvested in over time, meaning they've not put as many city dollars into these communities for infrastructure, development, commercial, neighborhood changes, all of those things. And so that is a fact that these communities did not see the economic investment that other parts of our city has. And so this program is looking to amplify or double down on those efforts and really help to move the needle and to drive some economic mobility and growth in these corridors. And so we have a corridor locator tool on the website, which drives you back to the City of Charlotte's website. Again, the City of Charlotte is who facilitates the Corridor of Opportunity program. Go to that corridor locator map and type in your actual physical address. If you are a home business, that will be your home business address. If you have a brick and mortar, that would be that brick and mortar. Wherever you get documentation that we've already listed, you'll need to supply for eligibility proof points. The address that's used for that, for your business operations, you will want to see that it falls within one of these blue shaded areas. If it's in the blue shaded area, ding, 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 you're eligible to apply, or you're in a corridor of opportunity, let's say that, if you meet the other eligibility points. If you are outside of the corridor, unfortunately, this program would not be an opportunity for you at this time. So that is some direct guidance to be able to identify and verify your physical business location. Next slide. So I think this is a great value. Imagine when we were back in school and you have a test coming up and someone gives you like a cheat sheet, if you will, or an answer key. We want to have you guys as prepared as possible. And so part of our learnings were, as we saw some frequently asked questions or just some frequent mistakes or common mistakes that applicants would make, we're pulling up a preview of some of the key questions that we're going to be asking so that you guys can prepare early and have a strong case when it's time to apply. One of those questions is we're asking in no more than 400 words, what goals do you wish for your business to achieve in the next 3 to 5 years? It's really helpful if you can demonstrate your goals through numbers. What does that look like for revenue growth? What does that look like for growing your team or staff? What does that look like for offering a new line of product or business service? And how will that impact your bottom line? We want to see that you have a vision and it's clear that the asset that you're requesting is going to help you to achieve that goal. Another question, what's the total amount that you're applying for? You'd be surprised that this can be a point of confusion. There are 3 different sort of, you'll need documentation for 3 different tiers. So we're beginning at 10,000 to 20,000, for example. When you look back at the documentation chart, there's different documentation that you'll turn in there. If you're looking for an asset between $10,000 and $20,000 and the cost is close or around about 15,000, please put 15,000. You don't have to put the final dollar amount. That was a point of confusion before. People would put 20,000 or 150,000 if they're looking to provide documentation around a certain tier, or if they're looking to request, if they're looking for assets that are within a certain tier. We're looking for you to give us a clear indication of the total amount that you need for your specific assets. And each of those assets, I'm going to kind of go into the third point. Once you describe what that item is that you're looking for, if it's more than $20,000, we need a cost estimate. That may look like a screenshot or a bill of exactly what that product costs. If you're looking for a lawnmower and you're in lawn care, give us an actual snapshot of the exact lawnmower you're looking to purchase and an estimated cost for that. But 2 of those cost estimates. So you may want that from one vendor or one company or business as well as another. Whenever possible, we're looking for 2 cost estimates for any item that is over $20,000. And we need that for each of those items. Thank you, Tracy. So if you are looking for, I don't want to get too confusing. The last question for multiple assets. This was a point of confusion. What we mean by that is, as Tracy mentioned, this is an opportunity to purchase things that you can acquire, in most cases, touch and feel and own for your business. There may be a case where you need more than one. So if we talk about that lawnmower company or lawn care landscaping company, maybe you need 2 lawnmowers in order to be able to reach a new community. That's going to allow you to bring in 2 additional staff members, or you can double your hours, something along those lines. You're looking for 2 lawnmowers, but they collectively will help you to grow your business as it relates to your 3 to 5 year goal. In those cases, we're looking for a cost estimate. Well, maybe that's a bad example because it's the same item. But if you want a lawnmower and a trimmer that's going to complement that lawnmower, we would need, if either of those are over $20,000, you would need 2 cost estimates for the lawnmower as well as 2 cost estimates for the trimmer or edger. I'm clearly not in landscaping, but you guys know what I mean, right? So for multiple assets, have those cost estimates, but also show how they're interconnected. Being able to demonstrate that it's one thing to mow the lawn, it's another thing to edge it up, that completes the job. We would discourage you from seeking assets that are unrelated, meaning you're looking for a lawnmower and you are looking for a computer, right? That may help you to complete business transactions. That is one business objective for improving your technology, and a lawnmower is a different business objective for delivering the work. So your assets should be interconnected, relating to each other for a specific business outcome. All right, we can move on to the next slide. Sorry, I can't see the top of it here. We talked about, again, preparing the strongest application possible. I went over all the different ways in which we're reaching out to the community. As mentioned, there's a website available in different languages. We also have an application guide, which is a really great booklet that is a snapshot of pretty much everything that's on the website, a snapshot of most of everything that we're sharing here in this actual meeting during our virtual meetings and in-person events. You'll be able to see the eligibility chart, documentation that's required, an explanation of the key questions that we're seeking responses to, as well as frequently asked questions, as well as support systems, which are community partner organizations, and I'm going to talk about in just a bit. Again, you guys are already here for this meeting. You are welcome to attend another meeting if you think that that is helpful to you. And each of our meetings, as you guys saw at the top of this call, are recorded and they'll be uploaded and available for playback post this date. So give yourself plenty of time, to really sit with all the information, review it over. And if you have questions, as mentioned before, reach out to us at info@BeyondOpenCLT. Next slide. So these are our community partner organizations, which are small business development support organizations. They are Aspire Community Capital, Prospera, and the Women's Business Center of Charlotte. Each of these organizations have time and staff dedicated to helping you. So Tracy mentioned, profit loss statements, cash flow, all of the business documentation that may be required. If you have questions about those, or if you have an example of it, you want to be sure that this is accurate, that this is what would likely be accepted by Foundation for the Carolinas, please reach out to one of these partners and they'll be able to assist you. We have capacity in Spanish at the Prospera, as well as the Women's Business Center of Charlotte. One of the things I'll mention about the Women's Business Center is they are welcoming to anyone, man or woman, but that is the actual official name. That's primarily who they serve. But if you happen to not be a woman, you are welcome to reach out to them for support as well. But any of these three partners are available. Their contact information is on our website, and they have historically also hosted some events. So you may see them do some pop-up events as well to be able to share a little bit more insight to remind you of the opportunity and additional supports that they can provide. So we encourage you to take advantage of all of it. This is free. This is available to you. And not only will it help you for this grant program, it will help and support you for other opportunities as well. Next slide. All right, the fun stuff, getting into actually applying. So, you spent the time learning about this opportunity, preparing the best application possible. The actual portal will open on August the 5th and will be open until August 30th. We can go on to the next slide. If you happen to have applied in the past, the portal will have some of your previous information that you can repurpose. I'm correct. Is that right, Tracy and Ishmael? That's what we last discussed. Yes. Okay. So, this is a new season, so you're not looking to copy and paste completely. But some of the generic information and description of your business, these things, please feel welcome to leverage that to make this process a little bit easier for you if you didn't stash that information away somewhere else. So before you apply, remember, confirm that you're in fact eligible, that you meet the 7 eligibility requirements, that you've attended, you're already here. So you check, you've already crossed that box off. You've attended an application information session. You've assembled your documents and information. What you'll notice is that the website will want you to upload all of this documentation as a PDF. That could be a little bit cumbersome if you wait till the final hour and you have a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet or something in QuickBooks that's still digital. Go ahead and download those and save them as a PDF file so that you're ready to simply upload when it's time to apply. So save each of the documents that you'll need based on the dollar amount that you're requesting, and then ensure accuracy. That old school cross your T's, dot your I's. You want to ensure that the business name is spelled correctly, that the addresses all line up, that the cost of the assets are accurate, that you have the actual cost estimates. Just go back and double check everything to ensure that there is accuracy. If there are some discrepancies, that is going to cause some confusion during the review process. And again, you can reach out at any time, even during the application cycle, to info@beyondopenclt.com, and we're really responsive. We can go to the next slide. All right. So some of the frequently asked questions that we hear, this is available. This is really fine print, but it's also available on our website as well as the application guide. So please do check that out. To review that quickly here, common things we find is that you're not eligible to apply. You don't meet the eligibility by the state of your business, but also you're maybe not asking for the right items. As we discussed, we're looking for capital assets and not operating expenses. So if you come and apply and you say, I'm looking to pay 5 members of my team, that's payroll. That is not an eligible use, and therefore you would be ineligible. Also making sure you're actually in a corridor of opportunity. A common mistake is that information is simply missing, it's incomplete, or it's inaccurate. That's what we talk about. Just going back and ensuring that all of the documentation, all the information that you provide is correct. And it's as simple as a typo sometimes with a digital application. So take the time to review it before submitting. And the portal is great in that you can start the application, begin to fill in the fields, save it, and come back later. So I would encourage you to get in there early, save it, come back and look with a fresh pair of eyes that everything is in fact accurate. And this is a full list. Something's missing, the cost estimates aren't there. If we require financial documents, like a profit loss statement, you don't upload it, or it's missing, or something is inconsistent there, this is going to render you ineligible, and you won't go further along in the review process. Also, the description of what you're seeking to achieve or the assets and how they're going to help you, they're vague, doesn't really connect the dots. The story isn't clear. It's not compelling. That's also one thing that will discourage you from being a strong contender and a grant recipient. Connection, we talk about, well, how is this asset going to help your business to grow? We have a couple of grantee stories that we are continuing to share and tell. I'll encourage you even to listen to those stories. There are at least 20 of them currently up on our website, where you'll hear exactly what they've requested, how that grant is going to help their business, and they give you a brief overview. Those may be some really great examples to inspire you and help you to see how this grant award can help your business. And the items need to be related. We say it all the time. We all have so many needs in a business. There are so many things that I'm sure can help you to grow and achieve your objectives and goals. But think about this program as one initiative, one goal, one project, and the assets that you're requesting need to be interconnected to that one goal at this time. So think about the most important thing for your business. We can go on to the next slide. All right, so this is the actual review process. What happens for the review process? We want to be very transparent. There is a minimum of 2 independent reviewers that are assigned to each application, and everyone who applies, you will have someone lay eyes on your application. We're going to be looking, well, I'm not on the review team. The review team will be looking to confirm your eligibility, that all the requirements have been met, that you've provided the documentation that's needed, that the information is accurate. And if you don't, unfortunately, meet these standards, this will stop you in the review process, right? So you won't go further in the process, but everyone's application will be reviewed. And each application is evaluated and scored. It's according to this criteria below. There's 3 main areas of focus. Eligibility is met. All the documentation is provided, complete and accurate. And there's a very clear focus between the asset you're requesting and the impact to your business. Those are the 3 key things that our review team will be looking for. All right, we can go to the next slide. You might be wondering, we mentioned that this is a competitive grant application process. It's unlike a COVID relief where you just apply and you receive the funding, but is it worth it? I would say absolutely. We all say absolutely. If you don't even put your name in, it's not an option, right? So every person that applies, every business that submits an application will have an opportunity to be reviewed. If you don't, It's not ever an option for you. And so many recipients have said that this is the first grant that they've ever received. So, don't feel discouraged. Like, as Tracy mentioned, you're not big enough, or, you haven't made this great impact, or people don't know who you are. If you are solidly running your business, you have clear objectives and goals, and you see how this grant can help you through a purchase of an asset or a few assets for one project, please do apply. Just being prepared is really going to empower you, not only to have a strong chance for this application, but also other grant funding opportunities, which you may have seen come about in Charlotte. And I think that many more will come in the future as our leaders in the community understand the impact and power of small business owners. Next slide. All right, that's a summary. So again, I think we shared, Wells Fargo is an incredible partner that put the funding behind this program. We are so thankful to them to making this possible for the Foundation for the Carolinas to be able to support for-profit businesses as it relates to driving economic mobility and a positive impact in our community. And so that is what this program offers. We hope that you can leverage it, and we can now transition to answering any questions that you may have. I don't see any questions, but did you see any that are not in the chat? No? Okay. So this has been a quiet group. If you have any questions, do you mind dropping that in the chat now?
And one thing to remember related to the information sessions, as Azania mentioned, is that you are more than welcome, and we encourage you to participate in more than one of these information sessions. It's not at all uncommon for grantees in the first two rounds to have attended 1, 2, or even 3 information sessions and worked with a community partner organization and gone through every step in the application guide to finally become a grantee. And so when we say, begin preparing early, this is why. It's because small business owners like you have utilized these supports and gone through these steps, and that has worked for them. So we're strongly encourage anyone who is eligible to participate in the program and to prepare as early as possible. Because again, we want these funds to get out to you and to be of use and to help you grow your business and to help build economic mobility and bring all of the benefits to the community that successful and viable small businesses bring, especially in the corridors of opportunity. And I see Ish posted, this is a common question that comes up. Some businesses may be located across the street or down the block from a corridor of opportunity, and when someone enters their address in the business locator on the Beyond Open website, a dot comes up on a map, literally, and it will show you whether your business is inside that blue one of those blue areas or not. And here's the reality of it. If your business is not located inside that blue zone, inside the corridors of opportunity, unfortunately, your business isn't eligible for the Beyond Open program, even if it's just across the street. We certainly understand, again, that there are businesses that have a range of needs across the community, and it is frustrating to see boundaries being drawn that you're not inside for programs like this. These are areas that the City of Charlotte has identified and that we're using to prioritize the use of the resources in Beyond Open. So just make sure, again, that you are inside one of the corridors of opportunity before you move forward in your application process. I believe, Annie, you have your hand raised, or you may want to put that in the chat if possible. Annie, that way we can record the question in the session and perhaps share an answer with everyone.
We have a follow-up, Tracy, to that question. What if an applicant is looking to obtain a new location? And I imagine that means within a corridor of opportunity.
Yes, so, and this is often the case, and we've had grantees who have done this. have an existing business, they are expanding or relocating the business to a location that is inside one of the corridors of opportunity, even though they may not be currently located inside a corridor of opportunity. And the question is, am I eligible? The answer is yes, if you can provide a sales contract for the purchase of that real estate or an executed or signed lease agreement, so that we know that this is in motion. It's not a possibility that you have a definite location that is inside the corridor that would for which this grant will be applied. And since we have a small group, and Annie, perhaps you could voice your question, if we could unmute her and take that question.
Tracy, I just touched base and that was the question. She'd asked me.
Thank you. Thanks for the clarification. I appreciate that. And Annie, thank you for asking that question. And I do want to point out also that there are variations to these frequently asked questions and special situations that you may be experiencing in your business, and you need someone to ask. And we strongly encourage you to reach out to one of our community partner organizations or to email us at info@beyondopenclt.com to receive clarification on any question that you may have related to the Beyond Open program. And we will get back to you quickly with an answer and some guidance. Other questions that you may have? Again, this session is being recorded, so it's available to you anytime and to others in the community. I believe our next session is an in-person session on June the 3rd, and that event information is also on the website. So if you prefer to receive this information in a live setting with real people, and you can ask questions in that kind of setting, please join us at that in-person session or one of the sessions that's coming up in the following weeks. Last call for questions for this first application information session for round 3. Okay, well, we really appreciate your sharing your time today, and we're here for you to support you in this process. Welcome to round 3 of Beyond Open, and we look forward to connecting with you again soon. Do not hesitate to reach out, and thank you again so much.
Thanks, everyone.